Well, the Leafs, everybody's on Matthews, and Tim, I watched him on TV after, and I have to, I don't know, he didn't seem ashamed to me. To tell you the truth, I was ashamed. I remember the very first year I took the Boston Bruins, and we're out in the first round. We outshot them 52 to 8.
But the first round was the best out of 3, remember?
Oh, it was terrible. And I remember we really hammered Tony Esposito, and they had in the paper the next day, he's finished and all that. Oh, boy, I said, we're in deep trouble now. Anyhow, he played great, and I was ashamed. I'll tell you a true story that Harry met with me, wanted to meet me, and I said, where are we going to meet? In Boston, they picked that up in a minute. So we met in a Chinese place, I forget, there was nobody know. And I offered, I said, you don't have to pay me. I said, I'm ashamed. But Marner and Matthews, they didn't seem ashamed.
No, they didn't seem humbled. I mean, Jason Spezza said the right things, and Thornton said the right things, and John Tavares said the right things, but there was almost a defiance with Matthews and Marner.
Could you chalk it up to being they're so young?
Could be young and making $10 million a year.
Stupid. I know what I think it is, making over $10 million a year. Yeah, what are you going to do? Huh? You going to fire me? You're not going to fire me. Anyhow, I thought that, but Matthews had 30 shots in 7 games. And some games he had 7, so he had the shots, but you didn't go in and take that extra chance. Nylander, Dubas
going back to the Leafs.
Going back to the Leafs, Nylander got 5 goals in 7 games. You can't beat him. $6 million, not bad. They'll probably lose. Leafs will probably lose Alex Kerfoot. He's making too much money. 2 years at $3.5 million. He'll probably go to Seattle. That's who I think. Yeah. Boy, they're going to have a pretty good team, Seattle. Not as good as Las Vegas. Nobody will have a good team. Never, ever again. But they're going to have a pretty good team.
Yeah. Well, you figure Anderson won't be back, so all their eggs are going to be in Campbell.
Who should get Anderson? Frederick Anderson is Pittsburgh.
Man, they need
because Pittsburgh outplayed Crosby, and if I was Brian Burke, not that I'm not Brian Burke, but I would get a good goalie. I would get Anderson. I would pay him the big dough. And I mean, Crosby's got to be now. He's got to be saying we got a pretty good club. And their goalie he coughed up that one puck in overtime, and they were constantly out shooting the Islanders and stuff. But the Leafs are going to lose Anderson, so all your eggs are in Campbell's basket, and then Hyman. I bet you they won't sign him. No, well, they can't afford it. They'd like to because, see, here's what happened. There comes a time in your life, like Hyman, you can make some big dough, and this is the one time he'll be able to make the big dough, and he'll go to some place and he'll be worth it wherever he goes because he gives 100%. What's funny thing is Babcock must really laugh because Babcock was the guy that stuck with him. And it was in the papers. Why is he playing? This guy is not that good and everything. And Babcock kept playing him and kept playing him and kept playing him. Anyhow, I don't want to get it.
I bet Babcock was laughing. The Leafs got knocked out twice in the first round, so he said maybe it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that. But talking about. I know one thing you said. The things you noticed. Zach Parise. Remember Zach Parise? I mean, he was a good hockey player. He signed a 13-year deal. Believe it or not, he's got $98 million left. And he said, I'm reporting to a training camp.
So he plays for Mini, right?
And he plays for Mini. He's 98 more. And he said, I'm reporting to So you don't want me? When he says that, I'm reporting to training camp, that means you better pay me, or you better settle with me pretty good one, because the little thing he put at the thing, I'm reporting to training camp, they must have son of a gun or something to that effect. Anyhow, the Leafs have got a lot. Dubas has got an awful lot to say. And he really, when you lose a guy like Tavares, 3 guys, and Foligno was hurt, he won't be back. Muzzin, what they tried to do is they tried to be top heavy. Like, and remember when Chicago won the Cup and they signed Kane to that big $10 million apiece? They thought they'd be top heavy. I thought he did very good. He got T.J. Brody was very unhappy here. You got Tyson Berry.
Another thing I noticed was the Islanders never had anybody in the top 40 in the scoring during the regular season, which is unbelievable. The tie, as we talk, we're time. Spezza was the best player, I thought, for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's making $700,000. I wonder if you go. That's one of the things.
Is he going to come? Do you think he's going to come back? How could he not? After such a good season.
Better be given a little more money anyhow.
$750.
Yes.
Is that the minimum of the
yeah,
NHL?
That's minimum. Yeah.
And he was making $700.
Yeah.
And the big thing is the Leafs going to have a tough time because they give up a lot of first round pick. And
so do you think
59th? They won't pick till the 59th.
Yeah. Do you think that missing Tavares was big for them?
I think Muzzin was and Tavares. Tavares never lost a face. Well, he lost. He was great on the face-off. Muzzin was their best defenseman, and Foligno was hurt. And you lose 3 pretty good. I'm not making excuses to them. I mean, really. And like I say, Montreal, they happened to get Carey they lost 15. They only won 15 games out of 38, and they got Jack Campbell for next to nothing, number 1 goaltender. So they're in a tough division next year, and it won't be any easy, and they don't pick till the 59th.
They're with Boston, Buffalo, Detroit, Florida, Montreal, Ottawa, and Tampa.
Anyhow, I started this thing out saying that I was ashamed that I got beat out first round, and I was going to give my salary up and the whole deal. I just thought that I hope, because I'm a Leaf fan, as you know, after Boston, I just hope that Marner and Matthews are a little ashamed of what they did in the playoffs and come back and really turn it on. I see where Matthews is up for the Lady Byng, and I'll tell you a story about Jean Rattel. And Jean Rattel, I used to say all the time, I don't want any Lady Byngs on this club. And I kept saying, I don't want any Lady Byngs. And believe it or not, Jean Rattel won the Lady Byng. Yeah, by the way, he got a high sticking penalty. Remember that, Tim? I couldn't believe it. What a referee we had in that 7th game. Anyhow, he wins the Lady Byng. So he sees I'm on the ice. We're having a practice. He says, Don, I'd like to talk to you after in my office. I said, what the heck's going on here? I remember his wife's name. I think his name is Nancy. I said, something's going on here. He's going to say he doesn't want to play anymore. And he comes in the room and he closes the door and he says, Don, I want to apologize. And I'm thinking, what in the world is Jean Rattel?
He's like a priest.
You're like a priest coming in saying he wants to apologize. And I said, well, what are you apologizing for, Sean? He says, I'm sorry I won the Lady Byng. I didn't know what to say.
Well, you've got 2 Lady Byngs because Ricky Milton won Lady Byng too.
Ricky, and I think
Johnny Busick won it once.
You see, but people, you have to understand, they could be Lady Byngs because they didn't have to be tough because you had so many other tough guys to protect them. And so that's the difference with people don't realize is that there was no shame in it because they could do their thing without having to worry about getting hit or whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way it worked. That's
the way it worked. And
not like today. They can hit those.
Well, a terrible thing to go back all the time and the playoffs and everything. But I knew when Matthews was being ragdolled and he was laughing at the referee that somebody didn't step in and straighten the guy out. And I told Tim, I said, they'll never win.
But isn't that infamous instigator rule? Would that have applied if someone? Yeah,
the guy that stepped in would have been the 3rd guy in. Would have got 2, 5, and a 10. Right. And he can't get out of it. That's the instigator rule, the worst rule that was ever put in hockey, and that was put in. Believe it or not, they thought the tough guys would start picking on the stars, and that never happened.
Well, they thought what.
Well, that was the owners.
Happening.
The owners had no idea. Yeah. The nearest they've ever been on the ice is in their drinks, and they put the instigator rule in, and that was the worst rule.
To protect. That was the idea. Was to protect the superstars.
Like say somebody was going after Jean Rattel, and we'd straighten the guy out. He would either be John Winsink, or it would be Stan Jonathan or Terry.
Well, we've told that story before. We were in a dogfight with Buffalo.
Yeah.
We're at second to last game of the year, and I think we were either a point ahead or a point behind. And was it Gary Howitt that?
No, it wasn't Gary Howitt. It was a defensive with curly-headed guy. It was Harris, I think. I forget. I'll find it.
Yeah, he kind of ran. It was a
Good
clean
crush.
hit, but it was a little bit too much effort, into the hit. And Winsink grabbed him.
Oh, knocked him head first into the boards.
And then the fight, and he got 2 or 4 minutes.
And the guys are like, there's a time to do it, not to do it.
But that set the precedent for the next time. Don't touch.
No, it was the second game, the last game for first spot. And I stood on the bench. I said, "That's that. Nobody had fools with our ratty." And I'm thinking, "Oh, please." And I called Davey Forbes over, who would kill penalties, a specialist, and Donnie Mark. I said, "If you ever kill a penalty, kill this one." And guess who got the winning goal? Backhand. I'll never forget it. Top corner. Put us in first spot. Jean Rattel.